Here we go. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Get the Skinny on Beachbody Weekly Coaching. We're in our second year here, and this is episode 2. And today we're talking about a business or hobby, and why it's important for Beachbody coaches to make money in their businesses, and how to go about doing that when they get started. So tonight we have on the panel, we have the beautiful and vivacious Shelley Kraft of Team Nacho. We have Tom Birkenmeyer of Team Passion. And we have Karen Wood, a surprise guest. We didn't think she was going to be here tonight. No, an esteemed panel member who we didn't think would be here tonight. So that's awesome. And panel, let's take it away. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think that sometimes people start out just as a hobby or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
People start out, I don't even want to do this as a coach. No way, no way. And then something clicks, and now they're, in the top 10. So not all of them, but so you never know. People can change their mind.
Right. So obviously some people get into this as discount coaches or as a hobby or just a way for themselves to get fit and healthy and achieve their goals. And eventually, like you said, Karen, they decide that they love it and they want to do it as a business. Mm-hmm. But once they do decide to do it as a business, why is it important for them to, start making money right away? And what's, what are some strategies they can use to get started?
It's important to start making money so they can be the proof that the business works. So there's a lot of talk about the proof that the product works, but mm-hmm. why not be the proof that the business works?
Right.
The best way to do that is to generate testimonials and a paycheck simultaneously.
Okay. So you said that they have to generate testimonials and the paycheck simultaneously.
Right, because they're linked.
Absolutely.
Because the paycheck is a direct result of the testimonial. Yeah. So there has to be that connection, connecting the dots.
So how does a brand new coach, generate those testimonials? What are some ways they can do that?
Get on the product ASAP, auto ship, start using it so that they can invite people to do it with them. And they send out as many invitations as it takes until they get their first paycheck. And now they've got some story of their own, and they've got some story of somebody else who's starting their journey that was inspired by their story, which is resulting in a paycheck and more stories.
Mm-hmm.
It sort of takes care of everything just by faithfully using the product as you're supposed to and sharing your story in a way that inspires people who are going to resonate with you to get on board with you as well. So now you got a paycheck and people are getting healthy at the same time. Mm-hmm. So you're going to have your own customer experience by being the product of the product, and you're going to be proof the product works and proof that the business model works, all in the same breath.
Mm-hmm.
And to add to that, what people that are just signing up should know is don't wait until you have a major transformation to start talking about it. From day one, you can talk about your workout, you can talk about your shake, you can say, I've only been drinking this for 4 days and I have this much energy, or, it doesn't have to be, people aren't going to lose 20 pounds overnight. Some people don't need to lose any pounds. So mm-hmm. don't stress about what you're going to be sharing. Just be authentic. That's the bottom line. Because you want to attract people that want to be with you. So if you come into this business and you start looking at what this person's doing, and you start doing that because they are, but it's not you, you're going to attract people that are looking for them, and it's not going to be a good fit. So be authentic.
Yes. And hi, Ruby. And
Hello,
to add to that, Shelley, I would say start inviting people to do it with you right after the order is placed and it hasn't even arrived in the mail yet. Because now you can always say to people, I've laid down my credit card, coming in the mail. let's do this with me. Get yours ordered too, or whatever, and let's do this together.
I'm so excited. I just ordered this today, and I can't wait till it comes because this is what I'm looking forward to. And wouldn't it be fun to do it together?
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
if somebody waits till they're at their goals, they lose the invitation of let's do this together.
Right.
Yeah, totally. The other thing is that you know, when you come in as a discount coach, and eventually decide that you want to turn this into a business, not in every case, but in many cases, you have an upline coach like Tom or like Lisa, or who have produced results. So you can say, hey, I'm really excited to do this because, you know, my coach Tom, you know, when he got into the business, you know, A, B, and C, and now he's gotten all these results, and look what he's done with the business, and I'm really excited to duplicate this and you know, and create the same freedom. So you don't always have to, it doesn't always have to be about you either.
Exactly.
Yes.
And that's a good thing. Sorry, Tom, I didn't mean to cut you off, but in the back office that is included with your coaching membership, there are a lot of stories too. So you can share pictures and stories of people who have had results, both physical and financial, and share their stories as I'm so excited to be part of this company where this person was able to achieve this, and they're helping to do, you know, the same thing. But Beachbody disclaimer, there is no guarantee of any money made. It's all skill.
Right. But you can also, the other cool thing is that you can emphasize one of the other really exciting parts of, you know, of coaching and you know, and building a Beachbody business is that this whole thing about community. We've talked about this before. I mean, that's a huge part, you know, sort of a positive thing about doing this is because everybody is yearning for connection and for community, and we have an incredible community. I mean, that just it's wonderful. So we've all experienced that.
So when I first started over 10 years ago, I like saying that, over a decade ago when I first started, when I started creating my early success, it was a combination of two things. One, I was mostly sharing other people's stories because I didn't really have an organization of my own yet. So I would share other people's stories. I would leverage them that way. And then I would also share what was happening to me. And then eventually down the road, I was able to share stories of people that I could say I knew personally. So then I would start making sure I mentioned in these stories I was sharing that I know this person personally in various creative ways that I would share it.
Mm-hmm.
But right off the bat, when I had no testimonials of my own, I would leverage the ones generated by the company or other teams. And then as I started to generate my own within my team, I could leverage those. But no matter what, from the beginning, I could leverage my own because the day that I enrolled, I got product and I started using it, a P90X, you know, the original one, and I journaled it and I shared the journal, my story as it was unfolding. I would share on a daily basis. And that was the most powerful thing to share, even more so than the other stories. But the other stories was the second most powerful. Mm-hmm. And then as the stories became of people that I knew personally, that became the new second most powerful. But my story was always the most powerful. But in the beginning, two things for a new coach: your own story, which you're only going to get by being on product, and then sharing other people's story. And then as you go forward and you inspire people, then you can share other people's story. You can say you know them personally, but you're still sharing your story. So that's kind of the simple progression from when you first get started. And that's how I made my first money, my first paychecks, and built it up residually from there.
Mm-hmm. So one, you know, when I was thinking about doing the show, you know, I had a lot of thoughts, and one of them was that, you know, one of the reasons that people who decide to, you know, go all in and make this a business, you know, generating money within their business, you know, is there's a lot of really kind of like deep kind of meaningful reasons why somebody might want to do that. And I think we've kind of sort of touched on it, but, you know, aside from, you know, in the beginning, you know, paying sort of covering the cost of your own product, making money is a tool. Money is, Tom, as you've said many times, money is something that's been demonized in our culture, but it really is not an evil thing. It's a tool that creates freedom and opportunity, not only to do good things for ourselves, whether it's we want to create wonderful experiences, memories with our families that will last a lifetime, or maybe we have a greater mission. We want to start a nonprofit. We want to buy houses for, that people, with lower to middle income can rent. Or maybe we have some other mission that we want to spread to the world, and without money, it makes it very difficult. So what was all that noise? Was that me? No.
I don't know, but I got a funny anecdotal story about that.
Oh, okay. So, it creates freedom. It allows us to do service to others. It allows us to spread our mission and values, and it helps us to find the tribe that we're meant to find, because we all do have that tribe out there, and that, money is a tool that helps us, achieve those goals. Thoughts on that?
Sure. First, Ruby, I hope you come back live eventually, because it's nice. It's nice to see your live face, Ruby. But I'm glad you're here either way. Okay, so my little funny anecdotal story. So whenever I'm talking to somebody that says money is evil, I just don't believe in it, it's destroyed mankind, yada yada, wah, wah, wah. Sometimes, depending on the vibe of the conversation, I'll say, "Hey, did you know that with money you can save people's lives from starving to death? Because you can buy food and feed them with it.
Right.
Did you know that?" And they're, of course they knew that. And then it's like, okay, so then if that's really how you feel, if you want to, why not make millions of dollars and keep only what you need for yourself and put the rest of it to work for whatever cause that bleeds to your heart?
Right.
Now, do you still think money is evil, or do you think it's people that are evil?
Right.
The Reverend at our church, he says, because, your thoughts create your reality. And so, if people are around saying you don't like money, well, you know what? Money doesn't like you either. So you won't have money. People that go around and say, oh, I don't like money and everything, they'll never be successful. They'll never have a lot of money, and they'll always be in debt somehow. So, it's stupid to go around saying you don't like money or money is evil.
Well, here's my thought about that. If that works for somebody, that's great. But me and my literal mindset, like, money has no agenda. It has no conscious thought. There's no central nervous system. So I don't think money, it's not a matter of money doesn't like you or does like you. It has no feelings whatsoever because it's inanimate.
Inanimate, yeah.
The energy of it, though.
Yeah, the energy of it. And that's why it's like the energy that somebody attaches to it. If that works for somebody, thinking that, oh, if I don't like money, it's not going to like me, and it causes them to have a positive hold towards money, then that's really cool.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, if you repel money, if you don't like it and you repel it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I totally get it.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, I'm just speaking as a literalist right now. As a literalist, money has no thoughts for you one way or the other because it has no conscious thought. But we do. We have agendas. Sometimes we have hidden agendas. Some people are very evil. Some people are not. So it depends on the person. So the money is going to be reflected. It's going to be a looking glass mirror based on who has it and what they do with it.
Yeah. Lisa
It's
said,
like a tool, so you can use it for as much good or as much evil or as much practical or as much frivolous.
It's leverage. It's leverage for whatever you want it to be leveraged for.
right.
Yep.
Yeah,
So yeah,
totally.
remember that one. Did you know you could save people from starving to death? Did you know you can rescue kids from sex slave operations worldwide?
And we have
money.
actually donated to that cause with Beachbody.
But it's really,
right.
And that's excellent, and that's definitely a tip and a tool that we should all put in our our quivers. Because I just today I had to go into work for just a short time today, and this regular customer came in. I don't know how we got into this conversation, but he wanted to know if I'd heard the latest news about the company that I work for, And then somehow he got talking about how corporations were evil, and all money is evil, and not $1 that's made by anybody who's wealthy or rich, it was earned honestly. And I just looked at him and I said, dude, I do not agree. I could not disagree more. I don't know. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh, whenever somebody makes a blanket statement like that, I just say, are you not smart enough to make at least one nuance to that blanket you just rolled out?
Yeah, well, I have to be careful about what I said, but in that forum. But I just looked at him and I said, because I know him pretty well, and I just said, I couldn't agree more. How could you, how could you say that every single dollar earned by anybody who has any wealth, was all done dishonestly and is all evil, inherently evil? So it just it's just incredible. It just goes to show how pervasive that those thoughts are in our culture, and we also have competing ideas in our culture about how money is evil, but we're all supposed to be striving for success and striving to be better, but don't have any money. It's like, what? So
well, the thing is, everyone wants people to be successful, just not more successful than they are.
Yeah, it could be.
That's the way, it's ego.
Yeah,
So
totally.
That's that mindset. I don't mean everybody.
I put a post on my page, something.
Roll up my blanket here.
Yeah, your blanket. Roll up your blanket, Shelley.
I didn't mean everybody, but everyone with that mindset.
Yeah, right.
I made a post the other day, something to the effect of, I like helping people make more money than me.
Good.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah.
Which goes in the face. What's that?
You're not in the blanket.
No.
Nice statement.
Right.
Yeah,
so
you're in a snuggie.
I'm in a snuggie.
Yeah.
Like other people too.
No, he's in the modern day snuggie, which is the mermaid tail.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Now there's a mental picture.
I actually want to be the first male mermaid, but in a masculine form. I think that would be pretty freaking
You want to be a merman.
A merman, exactly.
Merman, right.
And somebody coined that term for me, I don't remember, 6 or 7 years ago. They called me a merman based on a picture I took somewhere in the South Caribbean. I was laying on a rock, and then my hair was down, it was all wet, and it just looked like a merman, I guess, and somebody coined it. It was a pretty cool picture, I got to say myself.
Oh, awesome.
Cool.
So
now I'm going to be singing Ariel songs the rest of the night.
Yeah, really. So, on a more practical level, not that what we have been talking about isn't practical, but on a, sort of a more practical level, if we're thinking about people who are just starting out in Beachbody businesses and want to create some momentum, one of the things that we're often encouraged to do is to find people who are like-minded and who are maybe in our warm market, who can be angel investors, like our husbands, our boyfriends, our girlfriends, our our other spouses, our significant others, whatever. I have to tell you this. I have a trans daughter, so I can say this, I guess. But I was taking some phone calls earlier tonight, and the person on the phone was clearly female. I mean, clearly female. But when I addressed her as a female over the phone, because clearly I can't see her, she said to me, she was very nice about it. He was very nice about it. But he said, I am not a woman, I am a man. So he wanted me to refer to him as Mr., whatever, I can't remember the name, Richardson or something. So anyway, I don't know how I got onto that. But anyway, we need to, I guess it was talking about significant others and all that. Anyway, so what's the best way to go about doing that? I mean, that's not always an easy, I don't want to say the word sell, but it's not always easy to do. But it's a great way to kind of create some initial momentum. So what are your thoughts on that, guys?
I'm okay with it as long as there's a full intention of, I'm going to enroll people beyond that anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess in the long run, it doesn't matter. I guess, I don't know. I guess I'm mixed on it. I'm not sure it matters either way, because if somebody's gonna enroll people on a regular basis, or at least learn how to enroll people on a regular basis, then does that really matter? I don't know.
So they don't think that really. I'm sorry, Karen, go ahead.
What was the question?
Well, we're talking about, people are starting out, and, one of the things that's often discussed is angel investors, and, making your significant other, your husband, your spouse, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, one of your first coaches, which is supposed to be beneficial from a financial perspective, having that person, like immediately right underneath you. But it's also a way to kind of build initial momentum in your business, or what we call getting to Emerald. So just wondered what you guys' thoughts were on that.
On one hand, it's kind of artificial to do it. What the other person isn't going to put any energy or effort into the business at all. It's
Right.
an artificial rank advancement. But on the other hand, if you're building two business centers, then down the road, that could be very profitable, especially if both of them take off on their own momentum individually. It could be extreme. I mean, that could be the difference of tens of thousands of dollars a month, for example.
Right.
There's coaches that put their husband on the, under them. And maybe the husbands don't even really work the business, but they put the people under their husbands.
I did it. I don't have a spouse, but I put my parents, or my mom and my brother, or something like that. A few months after I got started, it's like, I want to make Emerald. So I did it. I made Emerald because I sponsored my mother, and I think it was my brother, even though they weren't doing the business whatsoever. So it was an artificial rank advancement, but I did it. I got Emerald. But long term, I don't think it really mattered for me, because eventually, way after that, I mean, that was costing me money, to be honest with you. So it wasn't really until a couple of years after that where I learned how to enroll people on a regular basis, and once in a while one of them would flip Emerald and so forth.
Right.
It wasn't until I learned how to do that where I started really making money and coming out.
Okay.
Well, for me, when I started, I hit Emerald within the first couple of weeks because I enrolled a couple of family members who were using the product. So I wasn't paying for that other coach.
Right.
But only one was interested in working in business. The other was discount. So for me, it was kind of like it just fed that momentum of yay, I'm a coach, and then yay, I'm Emerald, and just like really pushed me in the beginning, which was good.
Right.
Whether someone wants to build a business or not, even if they just want to be a discount user, family member, or whatever, that's just as legit as anything else.
Yep. And now Dave's one of my coaches, and so we're paying for the two, but I get the Activate and Energize that I use every month under his account. So
Cool.
It's really not that big of a difference. We get the Shaco under mine, and then the other supplements under his, which I'd be buying anyway. So
Right. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And
yeah, there's different ways to leverage it if you get creative, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. But then, because the only thing that stinks is when you have Emerald and then you lose rank and then get it again, is having those points that accumulate, and then you have to start that over again. So it's kind of like cool to have that solid leg,
Right.
That goes towards why it's so important to learn, eventually at least, learn how to enroll people on a regular basis. And let's define that. I'd say if a person can consistently bring in 2 or more per month, I'd say that's pretty consistent. I mean, that's when somebody is enrolling people on a regular basis, if it's 2 or more a month, I think. Or 3 or more, because that's success code. So let's change that to 3.
To pay for your Shaco. So
yeah.
Well,
no, that's 3 total. So if you're doing 2 a month, so then on second month, you got your third and your fourth, and then your third month, you got 6. If that's just 2 a month.
I thought it was new ones each month. It's just consistent.
Yeah. No. Okay. If you, all you need are 3 people on Shakeology home direct at the retail customer level, and that pays for your Shakeology. So that would be a hobby coach. And that's one of the topics of tonight's discussion. In fact, I'm talking to somebody right now. I don't know if she's going to enroll. We'll see. But she's talking about coming into this as a hobby. She mainly wants the health benefits and the discounts. So if she does this, it sounds like she's going to be a coach for the wholesale. But she's like, yeah, and if I can make a little bit of money, cool. So I'm telling her about, yeah, I just get 3 people on Home Direct Shakeology, and yours will basically be paid for. It'll be like free, and anything on top of that will be pure profit. And your main objective is to get healthy, and that'll be taken care of.
That's awesome. And then again, just because I don't think we talked about this on the recording, but if you are military spouse, and I believe retired military, then you don't pay the monthly fee, right? You just.
I don't know about retired. I think that's just active duty, unless they changed it.
I think they did change it a couple years ago, but don't quote me on that. I think I've been saying that, but that's another thing, especially I know military spouses, there's several very successful ones that are in Beachbody, and that helps.
Right.
So what if you were married to a military guy and he died in a war or something? So would you still get the discount?
I'm not sure. I'd have to look into that, because I believe if you got, I don't know. I'm not even going to speculate. I'm not sure.
Coach Relations, 1-800-COACH Relations. I don't know.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly. Get on the live chat.
Or that.
Huh. Yeah, I'd be, I don't know, be surprised. I'd be surprised if you'd be penalized by that, but maybe.
Yeah, I guess it all depends on the connection that you still have.
Right.
I'm not sure.
At the end of the day, $15.95 a month to cover all your overhead expenses is pretty cheap. In fact, I was talking to, and this is a regular thing whenever that comes up, I'm like, yeah, the monthly fee, your overhead is going to be only $15.95 a month. So all the traditional business owners are going to freaking hate you because they pay thousands, if not more, per month. So that's pretty cool. And I've never, ever, ever gotten any pushback from that, verbally or otherwise, when I frame it like that.
Absolutely. And that includes your website, that includes everything in the back office, and you don't have to buy anything and store it in your house.
No inventory.
No inventory.
Don't have to ship anything. I still get questions like that. Do you have to ship products from your house to people? So I'm like, no, don't have to do any of that stuff. We literally just point to a website. Beachbody does it. Your overhead is only going to be $15 a month. And by the way, traditional business owners are going to hate you, and they're probably not going to believe you because they're spending thousands, if not more. So this is pretty cool. And there's never an ounce of pushback whatsoever.
No. There aren't any businesses out there that have the potential to create so much income and freedom and spread health and wellness in such a way that you can get into for just $16 a month. They're not out there.
You know what? The only thing that depends on that, all this working out, is one skill, and that is enrolling people on a regular basis. It takes care of everything automatically. Just enrolling people you can be a really bad coach, but once in a while you're going to enroll somebody who's self-started, self-motivated, that's going to figure it out on their own. There'll be a Lindsay Matway, something like that. So really just learning how to enroll people on a regular basis is the one skill to learn. Just one skill. Get that down and you're freaking set. It takes care of everything.
Yep.
That's it. And so when people, I've been falling back on this a lot. All it takes is a true intrinsic desire to learn something new. Because people look at me where I'm at now and they're like, yeah, but I'm not smart like you. Yeah, I was pretty dumb when I started. I just had an intrinsic knowledge to learn new things. So do you want to learn new things? Do you like learning new things? And it's like all those problems that they'll list A, B, and C why they believe they can't do it. Yeah, no problem. The one thing that takes care of all of that is just a real intrinsic desire to learn new things. You want to learn something new? And that really, from a coach's point of view, that simplifies everything. If every objection or concern you can handle with, yeah, so what? Well, you want to learn new things? Well, we'll just learn some new things. You can learn new things, right?
But also helping your team enroll people like leader. Like I believe that the reason Melanie Mitro is the #1 coach for 4 times in the 4th year in a row is not because of the number of people that she enrolled, but I think it's probably something to do with her training and the way that she leads her team, because
yeah,
then is producing, and that is that's team volume, and that's what puts you up into premier and elite. So it's not just like enrolling and forgetting about them. You also have to be a leader. And I know that she just sponsored ad because I got one of her sponsored ads one time, a little video. But you know, I assume she's probably on Instagram too. You know,
Yes.
she has a blog. I don't know. She's, you know, I mean, the fact that she's #1 for 4 years in a row.
Impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well,
learning how to be a great leader just means you'll get there more quickly. Even if you're the worst coach or the worst leader possible, if you're just enrolling people regularly, you'll get there. There's no question about it. But if you also learn how to lead very effectively and inspire people to rank advance and so forth, obviously you'll get there much more quickly. And Melanie Mitro and others are really phenomenally amazing at that.
Yeah, and I was just gonna, I know we're almost out of time, but I saw, I think it was on the National Wake Up Call when she was talking about this being her 4th year and saying it was the hardest because so much has changed in social media that she had to learn new things to keep it going and basically like start a different philosophy on enrolling people and stuff. So
That's really powerful because I used to enroll people like every week. I would enroll 2 or 3 people, and now I might get one or 2 a month. And I'm trying to figure out what I need to change, and so far I haven't figured it out. But I'm still, chucking away at it. So I'd really be interested in what's this coach's name?
Melanie Mitchell.
Oh, same argument.
That's fine.
What did she identify that's different, and how did she adapt to it? I'd be really curious to know. So I'll have to look at her YouTube channel, see if she's got something up there about that.
well, she does. Yeah, she does. She does something on Tuesdays called I don't know, Tip Tuesday or something like that, where she talks about stuff like that. Yeah, and she's super active on Instagram. And but see that's the other thing. That's the other reason that you want to make money in this business, because one of the freedoms it creates is that you can hire virtual assistants. You can hire a staff to do all the heavy lifting, so you can do the one thing that creates is the biggest team building, money producing, helping the most people get healthy and fit thing that you're supposed to be doing.
Right.
As a coach.
Yeah,
Yep.
Absolutely. Got less than a minute. What do we want to close out with?
We're down there less than a minute. So
Less than a minute.
this was fast.
Yeah, it did go
It went
fast.
really fast. We a lot of golden nuggets here, in my opinion. So it was good.
Yeah, excellent. And I think there's a lot of this will lead into some really interesting topics down the line too for next week and the week after.
Okay.
Totally. Anyway, Karen, it's great you were here.
Yeah,
Yes.
Woohoo!
Yes, I mean, I can't drink it fast. So are you supposed to work out 30 minutes after you finish it?
What?
This is my, the
Energize.
Nah, I drink it and then I go work out.
Oh, okay. 'Cause I don't feel
I drink a Shakeology, then I work out. I don't even bother with that other stuff.
I love Energize.